What do men truly want? Peace or pleasure? A woman's heart or her hips? Some say love brings rest of mind. Others say beauty brings excitement. But in Apero Village, a quiet village near Akure town, one man's choice led him to destruction and a woman's heart broken beyond repair. This is the story of Miami, the river woman, and of the man who loved her and paid with his soul. Title: Regret at the Last Breath. Long ago, under a mango tree in front of a big mansion at Elupeju, in Lagos, an old woman named Madam Biola gathered her grandchildren. Her voice trembled, but her eyes carried the weight of old memories. "Children," she said, "listen very well. What I want to tell you today is not a tale for laughter, but a warning carved in tears. This is the story of Miami, the river woman, and how she took my fiancé from me. It all began at dawn on a fateful day, by the mysterious river Apero, a place where fishermen whispered prayers before casting their nets, and the mist danced on the water, like spirits hiding from the sun. They said the river never slept, and those who stare too long into it might see what no mortal should see. I will never forget the day I saw the strange woman emerging from the river Apero for the first time. A beautiful light-skinned lady, tall, robust with very attractive hips and big buttocks. And she carried a woven round basket of assorted jewelry on her head. As she made her way toward the Obanta market, she came out of the river as a mermaid, and put on a blue native dress with a matching head tie. By the riverside, the way she moved with such unearthly grace sent chills down my spine. I knew from that moment that she was no ordinary woman. Every market day she comes, I was waiting for my father under his fish packing tent at dawn, not far from the river Apero. When I saw the strange woman, my father and his servants had gone to the riverbank to check his fishing net, so that they could start preparing for Obanta market. I was a teenager then, grown up but not yet ripe for marriage. I hadn't even met Leke at that time. That was how it all began. They say if you stand quietly by the path that leads to the river Apero, before the first cock crows, you will hear her footsteps, soft but steady like water dripping in a calabash. She never comes late. Years later, the strange woman emerged from the river Apero again. Now, a more matured, beautiful, light-skinned woman, just like an European lady. Tall, robust, with much more attractive hips and big buttocks. The kind that could melt any man's heart. Her long black hair dripped with water, and on her head a woven round-shaped basket full of assorted jewelry, balanced like it weighed nothing. She came out as a mermaid upright. Then after turning into human form, she dressed by the riverbank. But this time she put on a blue shirt and a fitting black skirt that stopped at her knees. Her name was Miami. Her face smooth like river stone. Her smile like a lullaby. Her voice, hen, that voice could make a man forget his family. And her eyes, deep water eyes. Beautiful but stare too long and you forget who you are. She came only on a market day as well. Always alone, always early, and tread the same narrow road to Apero River as usual. That river that our people never go near after dusk. By that time I was older and more mature. My heart was full, my hands strong, and I was in love. His name was Leke. Tall, soft-spoken, always dreaming. He was from a poor family but I loved him. My parents said he has nothing. I didn't care. I fought for him. We even did our introduction. Both families met, shared kolanut and drinks. I thought we were ready for the future, not knowing that a demonic woman from the river was waiting to snatch him off. It was on a market day. I was selling spices with my auntie. When Leke saw her, she passed in front of our store. I recognized her instantly. But I kept quiet because my parents had warned me not to talk about her again. All men stared. But Leke's eyes followed her, like a goat tied to a rope. I called his name. He didn't answer. Then Miami looked back and smiled. Straight at Leke. That night, he couldn't sleep. By morning he said nothing happened. But he began to change. On market days, he would disappear. He stopped paying attention. He stopped praying. He began to look lost. After Leke saw Miami, there was a night I would never forget. An old herbalist, Baba Akin, came to our house. He was a distant uncle to my mother. He had strange eyes that always looked past people. He said to me quietly, "Biola, tell your lover to stop walking by the Apero River. There's a shadow waiting for him there. A woman that doesn't belong to land." I laughed. I told Leke the next day, thinking he would laugh too. But he didn't. He went quiet. Then he said, "Maybe that's where my destiny lies." I felt cold that night. I still remember the way he looked when he said it, like he had already made up his mind. I begged him. I cried. I reminded him of our love and all the struggles we had endured. He only smiled and said, "I love you, Biola. I just want to know who she really is." I warned him. "They say she is not human." He laughed. "That's why I want to know more about her. I just hope my curiosity won't kill me." One day he followed her after the market, into the bush path by the Apero River. That was the last day he was normal. He was away for hours one day. His customers waited endlessly, hoping to buy vegetables and some farm stuff. When he returned from the farm, when he finally came around, after the market time, he claimed he was busy on the farm. But his hands were clean. His clothes smelled of the peculiar scent of Apero River's water. So one day I followed him secretly, as he was going after Miami. Miami touched his forehead by the riverside. He smiled. That was when I knew that I had lost him. I went to the oldest diviner in Akure, and the man said, "Your fiancé is under the river's shadow now. He has made a choice." That same night, I had a dream. I saw Miami standing by my bed. She wasn't wearing her market wrapper. She was in white. Her eyes were full of light, like small moons. She said in a calm voice, "Leave him. He's already chosen." I tried to scream, but my voice didn't come out. Then she placed a cold hand on my chest and said, "If you try to pull him back, you will follow him into the water." I woke up gasping. My bedsheet was wet. Not with sweat, but with real water. My hair was dripping. From that day, I stopped sleeping alone. 3 nights passed. He didn't come back. On the 4th night, he returned. His eyes were red. His feet were bleeding. He collapsed in front of my father's compound. He was moved inside and treated by a herbalist. A herbalist who refused to say everything revealed by his oracle. At midnight, he called my name and began to talk. He said Miami knew he was following her, but pretended until she stepped her feet into the river. Then she turned back, invited him to come closer to her, touched him and led him into the river. But the water didn't wet him. Beneath the river was a big town. Her house was made of mirrors, floors like glass, walls whispering his name, welcoming him to their kingdom. There were men smiling too much, eyes empty without eyeballs. They moved around with their mouth wide open and moved faster than others with just one leg. There were other men with eyes on their foreheads, women with fishtails, and one high king on a throne. Then a giant crocodile-faced figure emerged from the shadow. Miami real husband. He came in with anger. Face of a crocodile, voice of thunder. His friends were all shocked when they came in with him and saw Leke. They were angry. They accused Miami of bringing too many men into the kingdom. They dragged Leke to the riverbed to face a panel of judges in front of their king, the one-eyed strange creature. The judges were two of his chiefs and four mysterious mermaids. They were furious when they saw him but started smiling after a while. They told him he was very lucky. He came during their No Cruel festival. Lucky they would not serve him as food to the crocodiles or turn him into a stone like they did to others. They let him go, but not as a whole. They beat him. They humiliated him, and the worst, they castrated him. He woke up by the riverbank the following day, alone, naked, cold. He was brought home from there. Leke was lying on the mat. I held his hand, crying softly, for the love of my life, Biola, I want to make things right, he said, but his body was already dying. 2 days later, he started coughing up blood. His skin turned gray and then he died. We buried him quietly. My family didn't ask questions. They asked no question. Nobody wanted to talk about Miami, the strange woman from Apero River. They said some things are better left alone, but I never forgot. I never really loved again. I got married again just to have my own children. Like I said, I never really loved again. Because that kind of betrayal breaks something in you. And that kind of pain takes years to heal. After Leke's burial, I stopped going near Apero River. But one evening, months later, I was passing by the path that led close to it. The sun was setting. The sky was orange. Then I heard someone singing. Soft, sweet, and slow. It was Miami's voice. I turned. She was standing halfway in the river, her basket on her head again, smiling that same calm smile. She said, "He's with me now. You can stop mourning." I ran. I didn't look back until I got home. That night, I fell sick for 2 weeks. The traditional doctor said it was malaria. But I knew it was Miami. Some months later, stories began spreading around Obanta Market. A woman said she saw a man under Miami's store helping her arrange her jewelry. She swore the man looked like Leke. Another trader said the same thing. He was standing behind her, smiling like he never died. I went to the market myself the next Obanta day. But the store was empty. Just footprints, wet ones, leading back toward Apero River. I fainted there. My auntie carried me home. For days, I couldn't speak. That was when I finally accepted that he was gone, truly gone. Years later, on a stormy night, thunder shook our roof. I woke up to the sound of someone knocking on my window. I looked out and saw Leke's face. Soaked. Pale. But smiling. He whispered, "Biola, I kept my promise. I came back." I screamed. My brothers ran in, but when they looked, nobody was there. only water dripping down the wall. From that night on, whenever rain fell, I could smell river mud in my room. Till today, Miami still walks that path on market days. But nowadays in a completely different way. Her basket full, her smile deadly. And every now and then a man follows her. But never comes back the same. They only come back to say their last words. Not all that glitters is gold, and search for fleeting beauty often leads to destruction. Cherish the one who gives you peace, who fights with you and for you. And never trade real love for an illusion. When you find a love that brings you rest of mind, hold it dearly. Because beauty without peace is a poison. And regret often comes too late at the very last breath. What would you have done if you were Leke? Would you resist the call of forbidden beauty? Or follow it into the deep ocean? Do you think Biola should have acted differently to save the love of her life? Tell us in the comments. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more African folktales that carry timeless wisdom. Because every story hides a lesson, and every lesson saves a soul.